We're doing this project for barley and soil health because we think in this region that even though a lot of people want to plant corn and soybeans, and a lot of people do plant corn and soybeans, that doesn't allow us any time really to put any cover crops in. So we need a third crop. We need an early crop in order to have the time to grow enough cover crop to really do any good soil health-wise. So that's why we're looking at barley, because it's one of the first crops to come off the field. That gives us the rest of August, it gives us September, and it gives us part of October really to grow any kind of a cover crop afterwards. Usually a rye and a radish, or an oat and a radish, or it could be some volunteer barley even, and just let it go. It gives it time to get some biomass to really do some good and to get enough root growth that it really does some good.
Cover crops is a very interesting thing that we're looking into, growers are looking into, but we just haven't found out a great way for them. And my growers in western North Dakota, their biggest concern with cover crops is always moisture. They don't want to get rid of it, and they do a very good job of no-tilling out west, and definitely open to the idea, but again, the moisture issue is the big thing. But when we get over here in the valley and kind of in the northeast, it really is a good option for a lot of people, because getting that root in the system for so long and having that obviously draws up the nutrients. Cover crop is optimal for after barley.
Next year, the cooperator is going to go to dry edible beans. We recommend a certain amount of nitrogen for dry edible beans because dry beans just don't support their nodules very well. Any kind of a stress, they slough the nodules off. Nobody knows why this is. It's just a characteristic of dry beans in general. We're going to come out in certain parts of this trial and put on different N rates for the dry beans in what is cover crop and what's not cover crop this year, and see if the nitrogen response rate is different between the two of them. Is nitrogen being tied up by the cover crop, or is nitrogen being released by the cover crop? And down at Valley City, that field will be on corn, and so that's an easy thing to do because it requires a lot of nitrogen. And then I'll kill out the no cover crop areas and keep the cover crop areas, and then next year we'll have the nitrogen rates in the corn and see how the corn responds to nitrogen, where it had cover crops and where it didn't. What we try to do when people try to transition in the no-till, it takes 5-6 years or something like that. What we don't know is, can we speed it up if we have the cover crops in, and then what's the nitrogen dynamic of having that cover crop in? You know, that little spindly stuff that you get after corn, maybe it doesn't have that much effect, but the large amount of biomass we get with the barley could have a very big difference. And so anytime that you change one thing in the farming system, you end up changing everything because it's a system.